coming up that's going to be huge. I just know it. I cannot wait to see it myself. Charlotte Kelso, hello.
Hi Shane, thanks for having me along.
No problem at all. I've got to say that have you always been destined to become a singer and part of the opera and a soprano, or was there another career when you were young that you were leading towards?
Oh, well, actually, when I started studying, I did a double degree in arts and music because I was intending on doing singing as like a side thing
Yeah.
I wanted to be a clinical psychologist. But when I started performing, and particularly when I did my first ever gig with State Opera South Australia, it cemented everything for me. There was no way I could do anything else.
So down the track, there's not going to be any opera about clinical psychology at all.
Oh, well, I never say never.
Be an interesting subject, that's for sure.
Well, opera's very psychological, so I think it all helps.
Oh, definitely. The operas that I've seen also have patterns and they get you in there. They're captivating your attention most of the time. So I love how operas are all different.
Yeah,
And
and
this one, Romeo and Juliet, it's a bit of a classic. Why is this one going to be a little different or better than others? Or describe it a little bit without too many spoilers.
well, I think we all know vaguely what happens because of the Shakespeare play.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think what's really unique about our production is the way that the relationships are at the forefront of it. It's Radula, our director, has this way of getting the honest emotions and the very real and relatable heart of the relationship to the forefront, and it makes it feel very real. And like when I'm watching it, I can see I can imagine myself in that situation, and I can see just how just how these characters would be feeling, and why they are in the situation that they're in. And I think Radula's got this amazing knack for getting our backstories and our motivations very clear, and it makes performing very easy because you know your character so innately that you know how they'd react and what they'd feel about what goes on stage. And so I think what the audiences are going to see is something much more honest and moving than they might even expect, even though it's a very moving it's a moving plot. It's
Yeah.
a love story, and love stories are always get the heartstrings tugging. But I think watching the scenes that I'm not in, it just it feels so relevant, and so it's like watching my friends. I go, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful, and touching. Yeah, so I hope that audiences come along and see it, because it's something that we really want to share with people.
I'm glad you mentioned Rodula because the direction is her way of working is quite unique. And does she motivate you? Like how does director and performer react and sort of do you guys have a sixth sense or the things happen between you both? Like how do you communicate?
She's very clear about what she wants, actually, and I've really loved working with her. She's very clear, but she also, like I said, she helps you understand your character. And so it feels very, we as performers feel very free to offer things, and
Yeah.
um, to, you know, not improvise necessarily, but if something happens on stage, like something falls in a way that we weren't expecting, or like some of the stage business doesn't go quite as
Yeah.
planned, it's very easy to know what to do from there, because she's understood the motivations of the character. And like my character Stefano is the young one of the Montagues, and so he's
Yeah.
very keen to impress, and he really looks up to Mercutio um, as a leader, but also as a role model. And so I understand why he feels the way that he does about what goes on, and I understand how how his emotions develop throughout the opera. And so if something goes on, it's like Radul has helped me understand his psychology, and so I know exactly what he'd feel about it and what he'd do. Yeah,
That's so great that you've got
so
that
so
technical
honest,
aspect.
very honest. It's really wonderful to work with her.
I'm sure. And I've got to say that the passion is coming through the way you're talking about it. But this is a show and a story and a plot that has been done over and over and over again for good reason. It's a Shakespeare classic and it's just loved. But did you have to watch any old operas of the production or any movies or anything to get any kind of gist of what you wanted to do, or was it totally separate?
Um, well, I knew the play very intimately. I think I studied it in, year 9 at school.
As we do, everyone does.
Um, yeah, I like watching different productions of it, particularly because Stefano is the only character in the opera who is
Yep.
in the original play, and so it was um, it was the most unfamiliar part of it, funnily enough. And
Okay.
so, yeah, I did watch other productions of it and other interpretations of the character. Um, but it's good to have an open mind when you come into a production, particularly a new production, so that you understand basically what's going on, but and what your motivation is in what you're singing,
Mm.
but you don't want to have too specific an interpretation because the direction that my character has gone, I would never have expected when we started, and he's so much more fully fleshed out than I think I would have been able to achieve by myself. So um, yeah, you want to have an idea of it, but nothing so specific that you can't change it.
True. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Something you touched on just before was distractions or mishaps during productions. Have you ever, in anything previously that you've worked on, something major happen that everyone just has to continue, or is there audience members that have any dramas that you can recall?
Yeah, quite a few actually.
Oh,
These
really?
things kind of happen on stage, and it's because it's a live performance, and there's so many moving parts, and
Yeah.
just small things like the last production that I did with State Opera South Australia was The Mikado in 2019.
Okay.
I was playing Peekbo, and we had all these fabulous, fabulous jewelry, and we had fans, and we had choreography with the fans. And I think there was one show where one of my rings broke and popped off and skidded across the stage
Oh,
mid-scene, and then Yum Yum, the main soprano, and played by my good friend Amelia Berry, her fan broke, and she had some very critical fan choreography,
oh no.
and so we had to swap fans mid-scene, and
Yep.
and then there was one scene where her dress, she had a very quick change, about 15 seconds in the wings, and her
Oh,
zipper got stuck. And so we all had to kind of crowd around her on stage so that no one could see her back. And then in the middle of the madrigal, the lead tenor had to zip her up very quickly.
oh,
So these kind of things happen all the time, and particularly yeah with Romeo and Juliet, because there's so many fight scenes,
yeah.
and there's so many moving parts. It's a really incredible and detailed production, and the set is stunning. And it's a very interactive set as well. Everything is um, it's it's all part of the whole,
Mm.
and so things do go a little not as you expect, particularly during the rehearsal process. But you just have to
Yeah.
Just have to be willing to jump on it and continue because the show must go on. You can't stop mid-show unless unless something goes very wrong. But let's touch wood that that it all goes smoothly. So
Well, you're a complete professional, obviously, if you can manage stuff like that. That's incredible.
yeah,
Uh,
I'd
what
love
about mobile phones? I mean, to me, it's a given, even in a cinema, but especially a theater as well. It's just not a thing. You should not be doing it anymore. Do they still go off, or do you still see people on them?
occasionally. I remember when we were doing Hamlet in the Adelaide Festival a few years
Oh
back.
no, of all places.
Yes, there was a very quiet, moody moment, and someone's phone went off, and it was the X-Files theme song, and it
Oh,
kind of echoed through the festival theatre. But
oh no.
you get used to these kind of distractions and just have to keep focusing, but it makes a good story, and it's very funny when you come off stage and everyone's like, "Was that the was that the X-Files theme song?" Yes, it was.
Yeah, true. There is a slight funny side to stuff like that, but I get annoyed personally as a critic, as an audience member, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely easier if they're turned off.
What about costumes? You talked about costume changes and mishaps that you've noticed before, but when you're in a costume or maybe this current production, does it transform you? Obviously, it probably does, but gowns and beautiful jewelry and things that you wear, it would transform you into the character, right?
Yeah, I find the costume is an absolutely integral part of how I stand and how I walk and um, how I just hold myself and operate as a character. And
Yeah,
so, particularly, so this role that I'm doing, Stefano, is what's called a pants role. So I'm playing a boy,
yeah.
and so throughout the entire rehearsal period, I love wearing dresses, I love wearing skirts, but I've been in trousers every single rehearsal because um it affects how the character moves so much. Whereas if when I've done other roles where I've been a woman, like playing Donnanna, she's very poised and very regal, and so I try and wear things in rehearsal that help me feel that way, pretty
Yeah.
dresses and more feminine things. And once you get to the part of the process where you're wearing the costume, it does change things a lot, and it's really exciting. And I find that those, like when you've got your hair done and your makeup, it just gives you that last part of the character that really makes it feel fully fleshed out. And the costumes in this production are so cool. Like the chorus, colors, frills, feathers, ruffles, masks, tulle,
Wow.
everything.
Okay.
It is so colorful and so it's almost couture. Like it's really incredible. And um, like all of the everything's been so well thought out, and it's so detailed.
Yeah.
It's really, yeah, Tarkus the designer has this incredible vision, and everything is so intertwined with what goes on. It's really cool.
It sounds good. You've sold me. I can't wait. But
Good.
you just said intertwined, and I think that's a good word because I was going to ask, what about a singer, a soprano, and a high volume singer such as you? Are the clothes fitted differently than normal clothes?
Um,
Because you
my
need space, right? You need space, and
yeah,
you don't want something tight on you. Is that right, or
yeah,
is it
exactly.
doesn't matter?
Well, my costume for this one is very it's I move in it very easily. It's because it's men's clothes, and so
Yeah. Oh, okay.
lovely comfy
Yep.
pants and different tops, and we've got I don't want to spoil too much, but
No.
the Act One party costumes are very cool, um, and very the Montagues are very obvious. We
Yep.
we stand out from the crowd. But yeah, when I've played slightly more roles with slightly more restrictive costumes, I suppose it is important, but you work with the costume designer, and you work with your dresser to make sure that it's never too tight to breathe in, and
Yeah.
you end up wearing a lot of corsets in opera, and so, but it's actually quite nice to wear a corset. It helps with your posture, and you just lace it in a way that means that you can breathe. And everyone's preferences are different.
Yeah.
Some people like them laced different ways, but I find it it can be helpful more than restrictive, but
Mm,
it's all about getting it right. And
mm,
everyone's got their own preferences about costumes. So the dresses are fantastic, and it's why you have a lot of fittings, and work very closely with the costume designers, so that because singing is in some ways the most important thing, and so
oh,
you really need to make sure that you can do your job when you're wearing the costume. Yeah.
mm. Yeah, that's why I was wondering. It's so insane that you need to have that voice, but I thought maybe some costumes could be restrictive. But men's clothes, I can attest to
Yeah.
that, are quite comfortable.
Yeah. And for me, it's often the shoes are very important.
Yeah.
And particularly when you're doing a lot of running around, you need to feel supported in your shoes, but not restricted. And I've rolled my ankle on stage once before, and you just have to
Oh,
keep going. So it's good to have a good pair of shoes. And when you're playing a female character, the height of the heel is important for me. So, but I know that for me, that's one thing. Some people might not care about the shoes so much. So we've all got our own quirks. We're all,
yeah.
individuals, and and divas in our own way.
How tall are you? Is it the heels in shoes important to you because you're tall, or are you short,
Well,
or?
I'm 176 centimeters, so
Okay.
I tend to be quite tall. I think I've never had to wear, stilettos on stage. I suppose it would depend on how tall the tenor is.
Yeah, true. Well, I'm 181 centimeters, so only just a bit taller than you. There you go.
Well, I can wear some high heels on stage.
Exactly. A couple of quick ones before we wrap up. Do you have a routine before you go onto stage? Not for rehearsals, but for, a performance. Do you have a set routine or something you drink or do before you head out on stage?
Yeah, I do. It's not necessarily, something that I drink, but it's more like I try not to do too much during the day, but I make sure that I eat enough. Protein's very important because I expend a lot of energy on stage, and so I make sure that I have a really good meal around lunchtime, and I stretch, and do a bit of yoga, that kind of thing, to warm
Yep.
up my body.
Yep.
And then when I get in the theatre, I like to get in a little bit earlier than the call, just to kind of settle myself in the space and get in the zone. Um, and it becomes quite meditative. Um, the process that you go through, sitting in hair and makeup, and
Yeah, I'm sure.
chatting, and just letting other people do the work for you for a second. Um, and then I have a warm-up routine that I do every single time I sing, which helps me when I'm under pressure to feel like, everything is there and I don't need to worry. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, the routine is very important. Um, and then before I go on stage, I take a moment and I remind myself to enjoy it, because you know, it's all very well to go out there and try to get everything right, and try to, of course you want to do all of those, to hit all the marks, and
True.
to get everything perfect. But if you go out and enjoy yourself and remind yourself that like, I'm so lucky to have this job and to be able to do this, like to be able to share this with an audience, and to get to sing, and follow my passion and all of that. It's just, I feel so lucky, and so reminding myself that, um, it's about enjoying myself, and because when you enjoy yourself, the audience enjoys it as well. And
Yep.
yeah, reminding myself that I'm doing this because I love it. It's a very nice it's a nice thing to feel when you're about to go on stage. Yeah.
Oh, that's good to hear. You enjoy yourself and you obviously conveys with your passion. Do you remember your first paying gig on stage? Like you probably studied and trained and did a lot of student things, but your very first role, what was it?
Oh, my very first role. I did some at the conservatorium, but my first, I do, my very first lead role with State Opera was Christina, the young Christina in Christina's World. And
Okay.
um, it was, it's a chamber opera written by an Australian composer, Ross Edwards.
Mm.
And it's really beautiful and haunting and um, very sad, but touching story about a girl growing up in a rural town in Victoria, and the kind of and her she's lost her mother, and her father's very traumatized by it, and it's a very psychological story in a lot of ways. But we worked very closely with the composer. He was there throughout the process, and
Yeah.
um, I absolutely loved it. It was such a beautiful performance, and Ross was really pleased with it. And I remember that he wrote on my score, which I still have, that I was his dream Christina, and it was such a special and beautiful moment for me. And I think that was one of the first big ones where I really realized um, just how important um, every aspect of this art form is to so many people, and it 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 touched me very deeply. So
I can tell.
yeah,
And thank you for sharing. I mean, usually, well, not always, but maybe a first lead role in something for a new performer would be something traditional, Phantom of the Opera or whatever it might be, something but Christina is certainly unique in its own.
yeah, definitely.
And finally, now I can't wait, and we've talked about it a little bit, but what will audiences get when they decide to go and see this version of Romeo and Juliet? How do you want them to feel and walk out of the theatre saying,
They'll get they'll get color and excitement and adrenaline pumping fight scenes, and they'll get love and honesty, and that the feeling of first love, and of that very innocent and lovely feeling when you meet someone who just gets you for the first time, and
and anyone who
all of
knows
that
me,
in a beautiful package with incredible singing.
oh, like the cast looks amazing.
They are.
Yourself, yourself included. I mean,
Oh, thank
I
you.
I think you're stunning and lovely to talk to, but getting to know you during our interview, I mean, I like you even more. It's
Oh,
just
thank you.
it's really cool. But I'm a big softie, so anything to do with romance and forbidden love and
And
things like that, I just I know that
there will be
I'll
tears. I
yeah,
think
I
there
can't wait
there will
in a
be
good
many
way.
not
And
dry
and
eyes as
and
well.
finally, what's next? Are you allowed to give me any exclusives? Are you working on a new project after this, or a film at all? Have you ever thought about acting in films?
Oh, no films for now, although my next year will be filled with a lot of different things. Nothing I can say just yet. Although
Okay.
some more unconventional, not film, but think a little bit more music outside of opera. Um, but I think the thing I'm most excited about, which I can't say anything about yet, but all I will say is look forward to the State Opera South Australia 2026 season announcement.
Oh, okay. You got me hooked, and everyone watching and listening too, I hope. So
It's a good one. It's a good one.